So Rani Ghaziri, Executive Director of Queen City Mutiny. I head up the MLS Next club in the Charlotte market. So Queen City Mutiny came into existence in 2014, and it was basically a makeup of a bunch of players from the 04-05 birth year, and that was still the mixed birth year at school. It actually started up with a couple of parents that were disgruntled, and they had their players come together and train once a week, try and get a higher level of training. And I moved out here and was introduced to this little group of players and a bunch of the parents, and saw something unique and special that we could do with it. Took it over from there. I feel I like the word boutique more than small. I would say that it allows us to know the families and the players from top to bottom. And having that sort of European style environment, and the best way I sort of put it across to people is, if you've ever been to Carrington, to Man United's training grounds, and you walk through the gates, you would walk past the U21s, the U18s, the U17s, all the way through to the backfields. And the backfields are where your U7s and U8s train. And they would basically have to walk past all of those seniors and look up to their idols and recognize that that's where they could be as they progress up the ladder. So we've built a similar style philosophy with the club, where the younger players all look up to the older players as athletes that they can aspire to become. And they all know each other. They all mingle. When the young ones are leaving the field, they rub shoulders with some of the older ones, nutmeg them, have a few kick-ups. And that camaraderie is very important because it builds the heartbeat of the club. It's important that we profile correctly. It's hard to put a particular pinpoint something particular about the club. And what I would say is, we are fighters. We are survivors. We are chameleons. We're a club that will always find a way to make it and to survive. And what we instill in our athletes is go out, compete, give your all, and leave everything on the field. So what you will notice as part of our brand of football is on every field, if our teams were just to be wearing plain white tops, for example, just from their warm-ups to their prep to going out on the pitch and to the style of football you see, you would immediately be able to tell that that's a Mutiny team. And that's very, very important to us. That's what sets us apart from everybody else. From top to bottom, there is a clear pathway, a clear methodology, and we are all trying to do things the same way. So the Flex event is an event we look forward to. Ideally, before we get to the Flex, we try to have our teams quite high up the league so that we're not relying on the Flex for qualification. It's extremely competitive when you get out there. I like it because it takes the cream of the crop from every single zone and brings them together and allows us to sort of cross-compete with those different states. And always fantastic games and really challenges us. I would say that our market is a good market, but there are stronger markets at the moment. So being able to compete with those stronger markets really allows us to benchmark where we're at. Getting out there this time, we already had 2 teams that were qualified for the Cup at that stage. So the 15s and 16s were already qualified. The 15s and 17s. The 16s needed the Flex to qualify. And the fire they brought was another level. I mean, some of the games will be reviewed and you guys will see clips of them, but you could see that the boys were up for it. They understood what was at stake, and they wanted to win. And they put their best foot forward. So I would say that I was extremely impressed with all the teams that went out there. They held their heads up high, and they definitely let the brand of football speak for itself. So we've slowly established that niche space in the market, and we all say we're okay with that. Being the Ajax of the area is completely fine by us. It's amazing to see so many players catching the eye of different clubs around the marketplace. So it's not particular to our market, because we also need to understand that not all clubs profile the same way. So they all have their player profiles, and we are that sort of club that opens our arms up and says, we've got, A, B, and C, different flavors, and those players might be conducive to different clubs or fit into their model better. And we're very, very big on promoting our players. If the next step is there for them, we're their biggest advocates. It's a feather in our cap, shows that we're doing things the right way, but also builds really strong, established relationships with the MLS pathway, so they can rely on us as a hub for player development down the line. So it's been a big year. Last year was a really big year for us, and we set the standards that we wanted to improve on last year. And we talk a big game, and we have managed to pull through. I will say that, some pieces fell our way, but the hard work both on and off the field by the players, by the coaches, and the support network that we've got from the families has really helped us push on this season. And it looks like we're going to break ground again with the Cup and possibly have 5 out of 6 teams qualified for the Cup by this weekend. If our 19s do the damage, then we should have 5 out of 6 teams there. And we feel like the 16s could very well have made it too. It was on a hairline. On quality, I would think that they deserve to be there, but you know how football is sometimes, Sometimes it doesn't go your way. But 5 out of 6 is going to be huge for us, and I think we may be, if not the only one of the only clubs in the entire market to have qualified 5 out of 6 teams to the Cup. You can expect the toolkit. That is what we provide. We identify players that we believe will grow in this environment. We try to be extremely careful with our selection process. We don't want a player coming through the door and then having to leave the next season because we made a mistake. It's more along the lines of, we will provide you with that platform. We will provide you with the high-level coaching. We will provide you with the toolkit to be successful, or to be the best you can become. But also there's a level of responsibility on that player as well. They have to take accountability and recognize that it's their journey, and we're along for the ride, and we are their support network. But parents will always see that we provide the players with the best opportunities to grow and shine. You'll see that I'm wearing the 10-year anniversary top here, and this was carefully designed. I think we are all about the look. We're all about the feel. Ultimately, we're working with high-performance athletes, and high-performance athletes are known for wanting to look good. And Drip FC brings the style, and we love this collaboration that we have with them. We understand that players are always looking for, the next in thing, and Drip FC is right in that space right now, overlooking players that are in the professional marketplace. A lot of our players that are older are now looking up to who they want to emulate. So the same way we've got our younger players in the academy wanting to emulate the older players in the academy, the older players in the academy also want to emulate someone. So the style, the fashion, and just looking sharp is extremely important for us. We say it, and our uniforms speak for themselves as well. It's all about going on the pitch and making a statement, whether it's the way you look or the way you play. I would say that if you don't know who we are, keep an eye on us. We will do our best to continue stirring the pot, making waves, and doing things our way, and it might not always resonate with everyone, but we have the best at heart. We want to do well by our boys, and we want to give them the opportunities to really make a statement in the US.